Hello, everyone, and welcome in. Happy Thursday, I think it is. So I'm really glad that you guys are all here with me today. Before we get into everything, let me start with two really quick questions. First of all, who loves clean ingredients and discounts? Me. And also, who loves amazing, clean ingredients, pizza recipes for your family? So my answer is a resounding yes on that. We are talking about clean ingredients and this incredible pizza using, that's right, fresh milled flour, hot honey, and true sea moss in the mix. The exact sea moss that I use is right here. So this stuff is, I use this stuff way more than I ever thought I would. Trust me when I say it gives your baked recipes, any dough, cookies, biscuits, bread, pizza dough, and that's just like minimally. Like it gives those recipes the most amazing texture and moisture. And oh, there's a spider on top of my monitor. I just saw. Oh, okay, it's okay. He's a little one. He's a little guy. He's probably, what if he climbs right across my camera? I think he's going to. That would be actually funny. Where were you during Halloween when I needed you, buddy? Anyways, let's carry on. Act like I don't see that. Okay, so this Wildcrafted is, I use it in so many things, way more than I ever thought that I would. So here's what I want to go over with you. I want to talk about why clean ingredients matter. All right, so you've probably noticed that even foods that should be simple, like pizza, it's dough and toppings, that's it. But those come loaded with preservatives, comes loaded with bleached flours, synthetic conditioners, guar gums, oils, inflammatory oils, oils that your body fights against. So that is why today's live is all about taking something fun and delicious like pizza and elevating it with clean, really powerful ingredients that your body actually benefits from. Yes, your body can benefit from pizza, homemade pizza, fresh milled flour version of pizza. And yes, we are using fresh milled flour. We're going to drizzle it with hot honey. We are working in the sea moss into the dough, and this all can make an incredibly noticeable difference. So stick with me. Now, I typically do these sea moss in the kitchen live streams in my kitchen, but because we are working with dough that has to have hours, hours in between, I have 1 hour for a live stream, so I had to pre-record the video, and I've got everything that you need. I've got the ingredients, the directions, and that's on a slideshow. I've only got slide 1 up, so stick with me. I'll switch it, and then I've got a pre-recorded video that I'm getting ready to roll, so that as we talk about the ingredients and the directions, we can walk through it together. So definitely stick around because this is why clean ingredients matter. All right, let's talk about why it is so important. So when you switch to clean ingredients, your body thanks you, okay? It truly does. It thanks you with better digestion, clearer skin, more steady energy. It reduces bloat. You have sharper thinking. Some of that brain fog starts to lift. Better sleep, and stronger immunity. So your body is literally saying thank you for the real ingredients. It makes that much of a difference. Now, I don't want you to think you have to go in and give your whole entire kitchen and pantry an overhaul. If you have the ability to do that, great. That's actually what I did years ago, and it probably wasn't the best decision because my family went rogue. Everybody thought they were starving to death when I switched everything over to organic, healthy, whole food sourced ingredients. My kids now call my house the ingredient household because there's tons of ingredients that you can make just about anything that you want, but we are very, very low and minimal on the processing in processed like packaged junk. So, and that's really the way I like it. Okay, that's how we feel our best. So here is, I'm going to go over the ingredients really quick, and then we're going to roll the video. You've got now this recipe will make about 2 medium pizzas or 4 personal size pizzas. And when I say personal size pizza, it's a good, it's a plate size. I can only probably eat half of it because the fresh milled flour has so much of the goodness still in it, including the fiber, that you would be shocked at how filling this is. So we are going to discuss basically how to go about fresh mill flour, pizza crust, plus your toppings. We're going to preheat our cast iron skillet, and then we're going to lay our dough in there. We're going to cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes on the stovetop. Then we're going to finish in the oven, and it's perfectly crisp on the bottom. It is incredible. So you definitely want to stick around. Now, before I get started, let me go ahead. I'm just going to roll the video while I'm explaining to you the benefits, the incredible benefits of what you see here, which is fresh milled flour. And yes, the mill is an investment, and I'll be honest, it took me a while to get the hang of it. I was like, what am I even doing? And there's a different flour to water ratio when you are working with fresh milled flour. So here's the thing. The benefits are many, all right? And they're incredible for your body. Fresh milled flour is one of the most powerful clean ingredient swaps that you can make. And here's why. You get all of the nutrients. So store-bought flour has the bran and the germ totally removed, all right? That is actually where the vitamins live, is in the bran and the germ. Then you still have the minerals in there, you have the protein, you have the fiber, and you have those healthy oils. Those are all in fresh milled flour. Fresh milled flour keeps everything. It's exactly how, God intended it to exist, only milled, nothing stripped out. That's why it supports digestion. The natural enzymes are still alive, okay? And they don't start to degrade until you mill the berry, until you break open that berry. So your gut handles it so much better. Fresh milled flour is richer in real minerals. We're talking magnesium, zinc, those B vitamins, iron. All of those, of course, are essential for better energy, for more balanced hormones, and for better gut health. It also keeps the crust, the pizza crust, lower on the glycemic scale. So, there's a ton of people that feel a lot fewer energy crashes when you choose to bake with fresh milled flour, and even less bloat. I have definitely experienced that. I can order a pizza from takeout and eat my typical 2 slices. I can definitely push for a third, but then I'm really miserable. But after I eat my pizza that I've ordered, I end up eating, sometimes overeating it, and then I just feel like garbage. The difference is when I make my own pizza, and I've been making my own homemade pizza for a good while, but I only recently started using my fresh milled flour in the pizza. And I'm telling you, you do not get that bloated, heavy, like lethargic feeling, because when you're talking about high carbs, which is the flour, the pizza crust, and you add to that the cheese, all the cheese, you've got carbs and fat and not a ton of protein. Some of the flour has some protein in it, regular store-bought flour, but that is like a person that loves to nap. That's their best friend, because those carbs and that fat, those will put you to sleep faster than anything. So no wonder we walk around feeling bloated and lethargic and low on energy when we consume things like that. But it's not that way when you make your own fresh milled flour at home. I promise you that. It tastes better. It's got that real natural flavor, but not that flat kind of processed flavor of white flour. So when you combine fresh milled flour with clean toppings and nutrient-dense toppings, like load the veggies on there, I will be honest, I'm not a veggie lover. I like my pizza just like cheese and pepperoni. Or I do like some onion and banana peppers every once in a while, but my husband loads all the toppings on there. So when you can include nutrient-dense vegetables and even more protein, like a turkey sausage, you are turning pizza from fun but not great for you into something that your body really can actually use as fuel. Now, the benefits of making pizza in the cast iron skillet, of course, we probably know by now that cast iron matters, and here's why. It is naturally non-toxic, so no chemical coatings, and you really can't get better than that. People have been cooking in cast iron for centuries. It also holds heat evenly, which is really important when you are making homemade pizza, because it creates that crisp crust. It is so hot. That's why we preheat the cast iron skillet in the oven beforehand. If you can do the same thing with the pizza stone, but because you preheat it and make it super hot, so when that dough hits that super hot pizza stone or the cast iron, it creates that crispy crust, and it almost like provides like a seal on the bottom that we all know and love when it comes to a pizza. So it also, when you cook in cast iron, you boost the iron content in food, which is always a good thing because it's a natural source of iron. It's not synthetic, made in a lab. Plus, cast iron, of course, lasts forever. As we know, it's simple, it's safe, it's clean, and it's fantastic for whole ingredient cooking. It also kind of locks in that flavor. It supports mineral intake. It gives you that real artisan crust that we all know and love, especially with the fresh milled flour. Now, we add hot honey as the finish, like drizzle. Why hot honey? So one, it's delicious. I don't know who engineered that and came up with that, but they're a genius. Hot honey is not just trendy. It's actually functional, and here's why. So raw honey gives natural enzymes to whatever it is that you include it in. It provides antioxidants. It provides a small dose of prebiotics, which of course are great for our gut. And it provides that clean sweetness, but without processed sugar. So you can either, I put honey in my dough. That's what the recipe calls for. You can absolutely use the hot honey in your dough rather than the regular honey. I like the hot honey just drizzled on top. You could do both, or you could do either or. I actually put in red pepper flakes in my pizza dough just because I love a little tiny bit of a kick. Let me grab a drink real quick. So you could, you really can customize this, of course, to your taste preferences. But, when you add the spice or the heat to honey, which is the hot honey, you definitely get a tiny little boost of metabolism because anytime that you add like cayenne pepper, anytime that you add a heat spice to whatever it is that you're baking or cooking, what happens is a thermogenic effect starts to happen in your body, which is increased circulation. It's a vasodilator, and it just creates a little bit of a warmth within your body that helps to speed up your metabolism just a little bit. And I don't know about you guys, but during the holidays, I've been having way too much food fun. I would take all of the sped up metabolism that you can give me. Plus, also any kind of cayenne pepper heat in the honey gives you better digestion because of that improved circulation, and also it has anti-inflammatory benefits. So honey also pairs beautifully with mineral-rich dough and those savory toppings. So it hits that sweet heat balance that I love. A ton of people love sweet and salty. I love sweet and heat, so sweet and spicy. It gives that perfect balance while still providing support for your body, and it works with your body, not against it. And that's really how you become fueled by the food that you eat. So now I want to talk about the star ingredient, which is true sea moss, the mineral powerhouse that it is. And this is the exact gel that I used in the recipe. This is the wild-crafted, totally plain version, and you can get any of the products that I'm talking about today. If you just click into the description, there is a link that'll take you straight to the Amazon webpage, True Sea Moss webpage, and you can click on any of those products and grab them. Now, sea moss, just all by itself, is chock full of minerals, all right? Minerals that your body needs, a ton of minerals, in fact. It also supports digestion. It supports thyroid health. It boosts your immunity. It provides resilience in the area of immunity throughout your body. It hydrates your body on a cellular level. It helps with better, cleaner, sustained energy. It provides a balance throughout your hormone. And this is with daily use, my friends. This is, of course, with continual daily usage. It's not something that you can take a few spoonfuls of and all your problems go away. That's not realistic. But what I can say is when you're consistent with taking this stuff, your body will start thanking you. You will see benefits show up that you probably have been wishing you had experienced years ago. And that's speaking from personal experience. I can definitely attest to that. I know people that say that sea moss has helped to support clearer skin. I know that it helps to reduce chronic inflammation throughout the body because it has so many anti-inflammatory compounds as well. And yes, sea moss works beautifully in just about any and every recipe, including dough and sauces. You could put it in the dough, you could put it in the pizza sauce, I probably wouldn't, I probably wouldn't drizzle it on top. That'd be a little weird, but definitely in the dough and even in the pizza sauce. And you're not gonna, it's not gonna taste like sea moss in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I've put this stuff in oatmeal. I put this in my biscuits. I grab all kinds of different flavors, and I use, for instance, the strawberry gel in my organic strawberry jam to put on my biscuits. I mean, apple spice cake, I use the apple cinnamon flavor. We use the wild crafted. My son just made sourdough chocolate chip cookies, all clean ingredient, and he uses several tablespoons of wild crafted sea moss, because at first he was like, I'm not putting sea moss in my cookies, because he's the cookie maker in our house. He does such a good job of it. And I said, just try it, just try it. So we tried it one time, and there's no taste difference at all, but there is definitely a texture difference. They stay moist. And because we do a fully fermented sourdough cookie recipe, we make the dough and then we refrigerate it at least overnight, so it gets that full fermentation and breaks down the sugar and the gluten. And what he noticed was, even the next day when we went to bake them, he said the cookie dough actually feels still really fresh, which, you know, stark contrast to without the sea moss. After it's been in the refrigerator overnight, sometimes it starts to kind of dry out a little bit. So I'm telling you, you all got to try this. It takes the baked goods and the bread recipes, it levels them up in a way that you will never bake again without your sea moss, I promise you. So now, when put into foods, sea moss also becomes a natural thickener and, of course, a mineral booster. So, and you know, it does all that without changing the flavor in any way. Now, a neat thing about, especially the wild crafted, I put this in my soups and stews. So we make a white bean, chicken chili, high protein, like gut friendly soup. I would live on that all fall and winter, and spring and summer too. But my husband is adamant about, why are we eating hot soup in the summer? Anyways, he has a weird hang up about that. So I blend the wild crafted in each bowlful of soup, and it acts as a wonderful natural thickener. And it does all of that without changing the flavor in any way. So basically, to add the sea moss into your pizza crust or your sauce or both, you are kind of enriching it, but in a natural way. You are, you're going to finish it with that clean, sweet spice of the hot honey, but you're going to have all of those ocean-grown minerals within your dough, and if you choose to put it in the sauce as well. Now, what I want to do is I'll pause for a minute on, the information, and I want to start my video back at the beginning, and we're going to go over it step by step because I've got the ingredients here. Now, this is just a quick sneak peek at it cooking, right in the middle of it cooking. Okay. So here is how you fresh mill the flour. So, this is a hard wheat berry. I'm doing about 3 1/4 cups. You can do red wheat as well. I would suggest against soft wheat because the hard wheat is what has the gluten structure. It's higher in the gluten content, higher in protein. And I'm going to pause here periodically, but you definitely want to stick to hard wheat because of the gluten structure, or red wheat berries. And those are the only ones that I've experimented with. That's all that I've used. I don't have time to, do a whole lot more experimenting with different types of berries. But I mean, so far I've had great luck with, especially the hard white. So now I've warmed my water. We do about 1/4 cup, 1 cup of warm water, not hot. Oh, hey Tammy, thanks for being here. I want one of those grinders, the flour mill. Where did you get it? I got mine, well, my husband and my children got it for me a couple years ago for Christmas. So that was a wonderful gift. And really, like I said, it took me a while to kind of get into using it because it was just a whole different process. I was like, what in the world is it? It's a different texture too. And you have to learn that it's a different flour to water ratio. So I've got it down pat now, and it's amazing. Okay, so let me go ahead and start. Again, so definitely not too hot of, what temperature of the water, because it will kill the yeast. So I'm putting in my 1 cup of warm, not hot water, and then I'm going in with where's my yeast? 1 tablespoon of instant yeast. Now, depending upon the type of yeast you use, mine is not instant. It's just an active dry yeast, so I have to give it a little bit of time to activate. Now, what I do is do the warm water and the honey, and the sugar in the honey will actually activate the yeast. It give it just the gentlest stir, and then you got to walk away from it because, you know, it's like watching grass grow. You know, you're looking at it thinking, are you going to do anything? And then eventually, let me pause it right here. You will see that it starts to foam up. Now it'll get even more foamy. Okay. But I had to kind of get things rolling here. So as you can see, it went from like flat to starting to activate. You can see a little bit of bubble action as I zoom in. That's what you want to see. You want to see some foam and you want to see some bubbling going on. That's yeast activated. All right, so then next up we are adding in the star of the show, which is 2 tablespoons of true sea moss gel. You could do 3, you could do 1, whatever. The sweet spot in my opinion is the 2 tablespoons. And I'm not even real precise measuring it out. I just do like 2 heaping, you know, spoonfuls. So then we go in with the olive oil, and we use about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, the really healthy, good for you kind of fat. Please make sure that you get a high quality olive oil. Make sure that there are no fillers. You know, you wouldn't believe the brands that are actually using fillers and other inflammatory oils to mix with the olive oil, although charging you a high quality price. It's pretty crazy, right? So always read your label. So then I'm going in with our salt. Salt is just going to bring out that amazing flavor. Now, here's where we make this pizza high protein. There's 2 ingredients that really step up the protein amount. And I think the last time I checked, actually I have it right here. I should have put that on the recipe. I need to adjust that. Okay, so each pizza slice has 5.3 grams of protein in it. That's pretty incredible. Like, isn't it neat that you can eat something as delicious as homemade pizza and you get all of the comfort feels that we all get when we eat pizza, but you can get 5.5 grams of protein per slice. You get a little over 1 gram of fiber, you get 11 carbs per slice, you get only 1 gram of fat, and about 73 calories per slice. And of course, it depends on the, you know, the slice size, the pizza size, but the figures that I gave you are about, they're based on about 4 personal size pizzas. So 1 of those slices, if you know what I mean. So this is where, again, we get the protein from. You've got plain, I normally don't do low fat because I like full fat Greek yogurt. I just feel like you miss out on some of that richness and creaminess, but that's all they had at the store, so I had to go with the non-fat version, which is okay. But I get the organic because we want clean ingredients, right? We want the organic plain Greek yogurt. That gives us a huge amount of protein. So we add in about 1 1/4 cups of Greek yogurt. I use Greek yogurt in my biscuits. Those are high protein as well. I use them in my pita breads. I've been loving using Greek yogurt, and I can't not use Greek yogurt in my biscuits now. They taste different. The texture is so much more moist when I use Greek yogurt in my biscuit, and it's really good for you. So then I just put, and here's the thing about me. I know you're supposed to like carefully mix the wet ingredients and then you whisk in the dry ingredients and then that ain't me, okay? I know you have to at least take time to allow the yeast to activate with the honey and the water, but then I just start dumping everything else in there, all right? This is the fresh milled flour, and I'm going to let you take a close look at that. So this has the germ and the bran still in it. So everything that was in the original little wheat berry is still in the flour that you are going to bake with. That is why it is so healthy and beneficial to our bodies. So as you can see, it looks a little different than even store-bought flour because that has typically been enriched, it has been bleached, and it has been stripped of everything. So the only thing that is left in store-bought flour is the gluten and the starch. That's it. So no wonder we so often walk around in a chronic state of being bloated and, gluten sensitivity issues because they only leave us with the gluten and the starch in the store-bought flour. Even the organic type of store-bought flour, which is way better than the non-organic because it's free of any glyphosate, so no chemicals were sprayed on it, but it's also unbleached and unrefined. So they haven't added additional chemicals to it to keep it preserved, and it's not been bleached. Why do they bleach flour in the first place? This is what it looks like truly in its most natural state. What's wrong with that? Why do they need to bleach it? I have no idea. but that's neither here nor there. So we take our fresh milled flour, and I know you're supposed to like gradually add it in slowly. I don't do that. I just add it in. Now there's some recipes that you have to do that, but this is one of those really easy, no fuss, kind of almost like a dump and go pizza dough, if you will. So I turn my electric mixer on the lowest setting just to kind of get everything combined. And then I go in and add in the organic vital wheat gluten. And what I want you to see, look at this. This 1/4 cup of the vital wheat gluten adds 23 grams of additional protein, okay? Only 2 carbs, 1.5 grams of fat, and 120 calories. I put this stuff in my course pizza dough, my bread recipes, my biscuits, my cinnamon roll recipes, anything that I'm gonna create a dough with, this stuff goes in it. I don't have any sensitivity in the area of gluten, and I don't really have a sensitive stomach or gut. And I really feel like I've been hearing more and more and more about people using fresh milled flour. Now they can stand the gluten, which in the past they haven't been able to. So I'll go ahead and continue with the video, but I add in my vital wheat gluten, just 1/4 cup. That adds a tremendous amount of protein. So then I go in with the half tablespoon of red pepper. You can totally leave that out. That's just based on your taste preference. And then I do about 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. I've got a half tablespoon measuring there. So I'm doing 2 of those. You could do more, you could do less. You can do whatever your favorite spices are. I like a little extra oregano. So then you start to, let me pause that. You start to see the dough. I sped up just 1 notch on the electric mixer. You start to see the dough clean the sides of the bowl. That's when you know, okay, the flour to water ratio is perfect. Like it's really, really good. So you go ahead and you let that knead for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and flip to my next slideshow, which is going to be the directions. So you can feel free to get a screenshot of that as well. So we're going to let that knead for about 5 to 7 minutes. And let me start my video again. On not the lowest setting, but like just 1 notch up. Now, if you don't have an electric mixer, it's okay. You can do this by hand. It's quite the arm workout, but it is definitely worth it. So you need, regardless of whether it's an electric mixer or by hand, you need for about 5 to 7 minutes. When you know you've kneaded, enough is when you, oh my goodness, somebody's coming to my door. My dog's gonna bark really, really loud. Axel, no. I think it's a grocery delivery. So when you know you're good is when you start to feel a little bit of resistance if you're hand kneading it. And when you are mixing it using the KitchenAid, you will start to see it kind of crawl up the dough hook. When it really has like nothing else to combine and knead, it'll start to kind of crawl up the dough hook. And that should be right around the 5-minute mark. So also I do the finger test. So when you touch the dough and it should be slightly tacky. You might have a little tiny bit of something on your finger. It shouldn't be wet. It shouldn't be super sticky. It should be tacky. And that's really when you know like you're good to go. The last thing you want is it to be extra dry. I would rather it be a little too sticky than really too dry, because you're not going to get that rise. The higher the hydration level in any kind of dough recipes, the more rise you're going to get and the more fluff is in the texture. So definitely feel free to, if you feel like it's a little too dry, add about 1 tablespoon of water at a time. All right, so, and I press down, you can see it's, it's perfectly tacky. So then I use the avocado oil. You can do olive oil, but I spray the bowl and I spray the top of the dough. Now, we're talking about clean ingredients, friends, so please don't use vegetable oil, don't use canola oil. Opt for an organic version, non-propellant, if you use a spray, avocado or olive oil. You can also use coconut oil if you like coconut. I know the refined is flavorless. So then I forgot to tell you, you spray it and then you flip it over and then you spray it again. So really coat the bowl. So as it rises, it's not gonna stick. And then you cover it. I have a little plastic, almost like a shower cap. I buy those in bulk for my bread recipes. You put it in a warm spot. Now I'm showing you how it started. We want this to double. But we don't want it to like overflow. So this is a couple hours later. This is the doubled final result. So again, don't worry about it like being exact. What you have to consider is if it rises too much, then you stand a chance of it overproofing, which it's going to look great in the oven and puff up, but then you take it out of the oven and it's going to deflate. And that happens. It's okay. It's still going to taste delicious. It just might not have that fluffy texture that, the fluffy, chewy texture that we all love in a pizza. So just watch it. It took me and my house is pretty cold, but I put it on top of my oven, my stovetop, and I had just baked something in my oven, so it was still warm. You can actually wrap like a heating pad around it. Anything that kind of warms it up, depending upon the temperature in your house, especially now, in the fall and winter, it's really chilly and the humidity is way down. So typically dough recipes take a little bit longer to rise. So there it is doubled. We're going to just dump it out. Oh, sorry, we deflate it first. I don't even know the point of that. If anybody knows, let me know in the chat box, but I guess you're supposed to deflate it. And then I just kind of start rolling it into a more, a round ball, okay? Because we're going to divide it. Now, and you don't have to do any extra kneading or anything. So what I'm doing now is I'm dividing it in half, and then I'm going to divide it again. So that's how we're making those 4 personal pan pizzas. Now, you can definitely just divide it in half and you can make 2, it's probably like between a medium and large size pizza. So it would be probably around like this size, depending upon how thin you roll it out. But and my family, we're a family of 4, at least the kids that still live here with us. So we all love different stuff. Like I like really light sauce on my pizza. My husband and my son loves like 3 times the amount of sauce. I don't even like, no. So anyways, we like to customize our own pizza. So I definitely opt for the personal pizza size, and I divide it into half and then again, divide it again. So there's a half, and I'm going to divide that one more time. And then we are going to, let's see what we do next. All right, flatten it out just a little bit. I'm going to kind of tuck it, roll it, just to kind of create a little bit more gluten structure and tension, and then flatten it out a bit. Now, a lot of people will say to use a rolling pin. I personally don't use a rolling pin, one, because you have to kind of flour the rolling pin and the pizza in order to get it not to stick. And I don't like a super floury pizza. Sometimes I feel like that helps kind of dry it out. So I just prefer to use the olive oil method. But sometimes if you have to olive oil the top or the rolling pin, it gets a little too moist, if you know what I mean. So I have found that just using my hands to press down, it works wonderfully. So, and again, we're not trying to win any pizza competition, like I'm not trying to win a prize for how pretty the pizza is. I just want it to taste good, and I want it to be nutrient dense, and I want it to provide my family's body with fuel. So I'm not worried about the look of it. But as you can see, you'll start to spread it out. It's not difficult to do. Now, fresh mill flour dough actually is a little more resistant because it's denser. Remember, you still have that germ and that bran in there. So it's a little tougher to work with at times. But you just keep, pressing uniformly, and you start to create that little lip that we all love in the crust. You just lift up every once in a while. Okay, now here's the fun part. So I have, and let me go ahead and flip to my next slideshow. So, okay, so the cast iron skillet method. We're going to preheat the cast iron skillet. And I'm sorry, my phone is blowing up. Let me make sure it's not some kind of an emergency that's happening. No, okay, I think we're good. So we're gonna preheat it at about 475 to 500. We're gonna make sure it gets really nice and hot. So I like to preheat the cast iron for a good 20 minutes to make sure it's really piping hot. Now, please use oven mitts that are appropriate for that type of heat, because just like a wadded up towel, like some of us use, that's not going to cut it with something this hot. So definitely be careful. Let me go back and play. There we go. So you're going to just lay, okay, my video is too fast for me. You're going to just lay the dough. Well, first of all, if your skillet needs oiled, like mine was already seasoned well, so I think I added just the tiniest bit of an extra spray on there. But really, if it's well seasoned, it's not going to stick. So I love that about a cast iron. So you're just going to pick your dough up and lay it onto the cast iron, and that's it. And you're going to hear a little bit of a sizzle. Like, it's just such a beautiful noise. That way you know it's kind of sealing and providing that delicious crust that we all love. Then we're going to layer in our sauce. Now, depending upon your sauce liking and your preference, I like just a little. That's probably even too much. So then we go in with our clean ingredient toppings. Now, I use an organic mozzarella cheese. I even have, which I love to use, I should have included it in this video. We have the fresh mozzarella that, you know, like it's the like log shape, and you just slice it or you tear it up and you plop some mozzarella like drops on top of that. Love that. And then of course, whatever other toppings that you choose, please make sure they're organic. That way you won't have any additional chemicals going into your body. And then I like my pepperoni. So I am not a fan of turkey pepperoni. It is, I don't even know what that stuff is. It doesn't taste like pepperoni to me. I like regular pepperoni. Now, it's hard to find organic pepperoni. It's almost non-existent, but you will definitely be doing yourself a huge favor to look for nitrate-free pepperoni, humanely raised, grass-fed pork, humanely raised, and pasture-raised. Nitrate-free is even better. So that's just, you know, I know it's a little extra fat, but I love my pepperoni. So as we're applying our toppings, the bottom of the crust is getting even more delicious. Now, I do go in and add a little bit of Redmond's garlic salt. I put that stuff on everything. It's like everything to me. I mean, I literally can't leave without it. So then I'm going to just give you all just a sneak peek. Look at the bottom of that. It's like perfectly crispy already. And really, when you put it in the oven to finish it, the bottom gets just the slightest bit more crispy. Doesn't get over crispy in my opinion. So the only thing that's left to do, oh, I should have told you, as we are putting our sauce and our toppings on there, I have the stovetop, which is in the directions. I have the stovetop on about medium to high, and it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to put the sauce and the toppings on there. And during that time, it's cooking a little bit on the stovetop. So then we just take the cast iron skillet with our delicious pizza and we pop it in the oven. And we are going to bake for anywhere between, and this is the finished version, anywhere between 10 to 14 minutes, depending upon how your oven cooks. My oven is fairly new and it is like piping hot. So I think I baked this for about 10 minutes. Depending upon how you like if you have a real thin, if you pressed it out really thin, you're going to want to, of course, bake that less. So you're going to have a lot thinner crust. Just make sure if you have a really thin pizza crust, if you like a lot of toppings, you might want to saute and fast cook those like vegetables. Otherwise, they're going to kind of still be raw because this goes in the oven and bakes up so quickly. So your sausage and like your green pepper and your onions and things like that are a thicker vegetable, either chop them up super, super fine or, you know, make them in strips or cubes and saute them for just a few minutes just to make them tender crisp before you layer them on. That way everything will be cooked exactly as it should be when it's in the oven. So this is the final version, you guys. It is mouth-watering. It is delicious. It is like next level nutrient dense. So I know y'all's mouth is watering watching this, and I promise you it is completely delicious. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my slideshow on automatic, so it will just switch back and forth. There's 3 different slides. It'll switch back and forth between, let me start you at the first one. All right, you got 3, so you can grab a screenshot of all 3 of those. So I've got just a few minutes left, and I'm going to share with you why true sea moss makes this pizza different, in addition to, of course, the fresh milled flour. It matters because not all sea moss is clean, all right? So here's what sets true sea moss apart. It is wild crafted. It is never pool grown. It is never bleached. It's real ocean nutrients, exactly the way nature intended. It is third-party tested for heavy metals or mold and contaminants. There is no fillers in the stuff, no sugar, no junk, no weird ingredients. It's just the real deal. It's just the gel from rehydrated sea moss. It's delicious. It's easy to use. We've got a whole lineup, just about, you know, we've got something for everyone. We've got the gels, we've got the gummies, We've got drops. The drops are currently out of stock, and I wish they would hurry and get those back in stock because those are amazing. We've got the green powder. We've even got the soaps. Oh, it's upside down. So, you know, there's something for everyone. By the way, these soaps would make such a fantastic little holiday gift, a stocking stuffer. They're amazing, and they're like the best things that you've ever put up to your nose. Oh my gosh, they smell so delicious. So regardless of what product you actually choose, you've got those essential minerals, because this stuff is loaded with minerals. Minerals that your body actually absorbs because they are in natural form. You know, consistency, flavor, and transparency. That's why so many people feel a difference pretty fast when you purchase from a reputable brand that is backed with integrity. So combining these power ingredients, definitely, you know, it just changes everything. I'm sorry, let me take 1 second. Okay, so you've got the natural minerals and the enzymes and the fiber from the fresh milled flour. You've got the additional protein from the Greek yogurt and the vital wheat gluten. You've got the enzymes and the antioxidants and the gut-friendly prebiotics in the sea moss and the hot honey. You've got hydration and thyroid support, gut and immune support, like at its best because of the sea moss. And then because you're using cast iron, you're looking at non-toxic, a little bit of iron that's added. It creates great structure. And then all of those together just basically give you cleaner digestion, longer sustained energy throughout the day. It provides fuel for your body. And you can get fuel for your body even in a delicious pizza. Also, better immunity. I have not, knock on wood, I have not had a sinus issue, not one, the entire time, 10 months now that I've been on sea moss. And that's major, all right? So of course, I add sea moss in every recipe that I can, but I also take it each day by the spoonful. So I used to get real creative and put them in smoothies, and I mean, I still do, but I'm typically in a hurry trying to get something accomplished. And the first thing I do in the morning is take 2 tablespoons of sea moss gel. Very first thing, on an empty stomach with some water. And that kind of sets the tone for my day. So it has created such a resilience within my immunity that I used to live in a chronic state of sinusitis. I mean, talking for 20 plus years. Every single time the seasons changed, oh, my head was miserable. Like, you know, anybody that suffers from a lot of sinus issues, you definitely, you know, if you know, right? This stuff has changed that in my life completely. It allows for better nutrient absorption as well. It gives you that mineral support. It helps to reduce inflammation throughout the body. It's just nourishing, and it provides you whatever recipe you put it in, it just makes it cleaner, okay? So this isn't just pizza. It's actually functional and nutrient packed and clean ingredient. And it's a meal that still tastes amazing. It's pizza. I could eat pizza 4 times out of the week. It's delicious. It's one of my favorite foods ever. So very quickly, and then I have to wrap things up. Let me check my time here really quickly. Okay, I've got just a few more minutes. So I have a question for you. Put it in the chat box. Have you ever tried fresh milled flour? Do you cook with cast iron? What are your favorite pizza toppings? So, and also, have you ever added sea moss to a recipe? All right. Also, what other clean ingredient recipes would you like to see me give you on these live streams? One of my favorite things to do is to take a family favorite treat like pizza or Rice Krispie treats or chocolate chip cookies. And we turn that in, we swap out the junky toxic ingredients, we turn that into a delicious, nutrient dense treat or meal or soup or whatever it is, the recipe that is I'm cooking. Because it can be done. You know, you don't have to, just because it tastes good, doesn't of course mean it's healthy. So a lot of people are under the impression that if it's healthy, it tastes bad. And I'll be honest, a lot of recipes do. It tastes like cardboard. I'm not into that. Like, I love food too much. If I make a healthy pizza, I want it to still taste like pizza. If I make healthy, nutrient dense, fully fermented sourdough chocolate chip cookies, I want it to taste like a chocolate chip cookie. All right, I'm not into like making those swaps unless it's worth it and it tastes the same. Some of this stuff, friends, tastes even better. It's remarkable what happens within your body, especially on a cognitive level. Your taste buds, they start to catch up. And when you provide your body with whole food ingredients, nutrient-dense ingredients, clean ingredients in your recipes, it's amazing how quickly your body will start to catch up and that your taste buds remember those tastes, and it starts to really learn to love the taste of clean ingredient cooking and baking. So definitely jump in the description, click on the True Sea Moss Amazon webpage link, and go ahead and grab yourself some gels or some gummies or powders or even soaps for the upcoming holiday. Like, I know y'all still looking for stocking stuffers out there. Those would be amazing. So thank you all so much for spending your time with me today. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for being interested in prioritizing your health and using clean ingredients. And thank you for being interested in fresh milled flour recipes. So when you choose cleaner ingredients for yourself and your family, you definitely will see healthier, happier versions of yourself. Your body will thank you. The pizza theme is super fun, but deeper than that, it shows how powerful little tiny choices can be. Swapping out one ingredient at a time. Your fresh milled flour, your hot honey, your cast iron cooking, and adding in that True Sea Moss. When you combine the clean ingredients with daily minerals, you're not just making pizza anymore, you're actually making a healthier lifestyle. So I cannot wait to see how many clean ingredient and True Sea Moss transformations that all of you guys have come up with. It's going to help your energy, your immunity, your gut, and just your overall wellness. So thank you all again so much for being here with me. I will be back next week for another sea moss in the kitchen recipe. And I want you guys to have a wonderful rest of the day and the happiest of holidays. See you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.